Do you know that show, Teen Titans Go? It is the spin-off to the original Teen Titans. A YouTube video of the original pilot was released by some random user. The episode was called A Day Off. The episode began with Cyborg constantly saying booyah. Then he stops and screams. Beast Boy comes into his room and sees Cyborg looking terrified. His real eye was missing and his red eye became pink. Beast Boy says, "You have got to stop watching scary films." Cyborg replies, "What? Why?" Beast Boy, with an annoyed look on his face, turns into a gorilla and walks away. Robin and Raven are sitting at the table eating cereal when Beast Boy comes in. He turns back into his original form and says Cyborg just glitched. Raven replies he watched the video cut off to Robin. He said he should not have done it, now he might die. Beast Boy started to cry loud. Beast Boy then jumped out of the window. After that, the camera pans in on him with glass splinters everywhere, a swollen eye, and bleeding in a few areas. Then Cyborg is seen in the room with
Welcome back everyone to another Urban Legends video. Today we have a country that is very dear to my heart, Ireland. Its history goes back thousands of years. It contains many amazing stories. Some of them are pretty scary though. They've survived since ancient times. Does this mean there is some truth to them? Let's see what you think. My name is Danny Burke and this is the top 10 scary Irish urban legends. Starting off at number 10 now, we have the Demon Bridge of County Monaghan. This is a story of death. The Demon Bride is said to have terrorized funeral goers for at least 200 years. Her victims now lie in the churchyards where they fell. Across County Monaghan, people report the same thing. The Demon Bride watches funerals and waits as the deceased are laid to rest. As everyone leaves, the Demon Bride approaches a young man straggling behind. She transforms into a beautiful young woman and makes him promise to meet her a month from that day back there at the graveyard. She seals the deal with a kiss and then vanishes. As he leaves the graveyard, his blood runs cold and a deep sense of despair washes over him. He realizes he has sold his body and soul to the evil spirit and his life has been forfeited. Over the next month, he descends into madness before eventually dying. He is laid to rest in the same graveyard as before, exactly a month after he first met the demon bride, his promise fulfilled. Next up at number 9 now, we have the Banshee. The Banshee is a female spirit that wails in the night as a sign that death is coming for a family member. Legend says the Banshee has long streaming hair, wears a grey cloak over a green dress, and her eyes are red from constant weeping. According to the Ancient Legends of Ireland book, the Banshee may be seen at night as a shrouded woman crouched beneath the trees, lamenting with veiled face or flying past the moonlight crying bitterly, and the cry of this spirit is mournful beyond all other sounds on earth and betokens certain death to some member of the family whenever it is heard in the silence of the night. Could not think of a more scary description myself if I tried. Moving on to number 8 now, we have the Dergdu. Many countries have a vampire legend. This is the Irish one. The name translates from Irish as red bloodsucker. Originally, the Dergdu was a normal girl who lived over 2,000 years ago. She was said to be beautiful, with blood-red lips and pale blonde hair. Her true name has been lost in the sands of time, overshadowed by what she became. Men travelled from all over Ireland in the hopes of just being with her. However, she fell in love with a local man who was very poor. He was perfect for her, but without money, her father would never let them marry. Instead, he married her off to an old, cruel man who abused her. He liked to draw blood from her while she was locked up in a tower cell. One day, she gave up hope of her true love ever rescuing her and committed suicide by refusing to eat. Her dying breath was a vengeance against the living. Her undead corpse rose from the earth on the night she was buried, thirsting for the blood that was taken from her. She was now the Dergdu, stealing blood from children, from the innocent, and especially from young men. She would call to them in the night with a haunting siren song that lured them to their deaths. Some say she still wanders the Irish countryside at night, calling out to her next victim. At number 7 now, we have the Changelings. These are mythical fairy creatures that take the place of a newborn human child that has been stolen by the fairies. The fairies will steal the child to act as a servant for them. Families would try and see if their baby was actually a changeling through a number of different ways. One of them involved placing them over a fire. If the baby was a changeling, it would leave by just climbing up the chimney. The real child would then be returned. It was thought that the fairies preferred to steal baby boys. As a result, many Irish families would dress their baby boys in dresses to confuse the fairies. Moving on to number 6 now, we have the Dullahan. The Dullahan is a headless rider of the night who carries his own head under one arm. His mouth is locked in a hideous grin that touches both sides of his head. His flesh is rotting and he uses the spine of a human for a horsewhip. His job is as a foreteller of death. When he stops riding, a person is due to die. He will call out the person's name, at which point they drop to the floor dead. There is no way to stop the Dullahan. All locks and gates open when he approaches. They don't like being watched either and will throw blood over anyone who dares to do so. This is also taken as a mark that they are among the next to die. Moving on to number 5 now, we have the Fetch. The Fetch is a supernatural double of a living person. You can have your own Fetch. They're like a doppelganger, but with much more sinister undertones. Their sightings are regarded as an omen of impending death. If a person sees this dark double of themselves, it's said to mean they are going to die soon. Sometimes the Fetch may even have a clue as to how that person will die, perhaps a bullet wound in the head or a slash across the chest. Either way, it's not something you want to come across in your life. The Fetch is said to appear ghostly or shadowy and may vanish down alleyways or halls if followed. At number 4 now, we have the Puka. According to Irish folklore, these are strange little creatures obsessed with causing as much havoc as possible. They visit farms and seaside communities to tear down fences and disturb the animals there. The creepy part is that the legend says the Puka sometimes just stand outside of a farmhouse and calls the people outside by their name. If anyone steps out, the Puka will carry them away forever. There are stories of them being bloodthirsty and vampire-like creatures, as well as ones that describe them as man-eating beings, hunting down, killing, and eating their victims. Next up at number 3 now, we have the Alp Luatra. This creature is also known as the Joint Eater. Don't worry, it doesn't eat your joints, but this creature does something just as strange. It's said to be a newt-like creature that preys on people who fall asleep near rivers or streams. It jumps down their throat throat and lives in their stomach so that it can eat the victim's food. In the collection of folk tales called Beside the Fire, a farmer was starving from an alpluatra that was in his stomach, and he found a way to get rid of the creature. He ate large amounts of salted meat until he could eat no more. Then he lay by a stream with his mouth open. The alpluatra was driven to thirst by all the salt, and eventually they all jumped out of the man and into the water. Gross. Moving on to number 2 now, we have the Black Cat of Killarkey House. There is said to be a beast that wanders the forests of County Dublin around the old Killarkey house. The animal has been sighted for centuries there, and people say it's supernatural. For a lot of people, for a while, this was nothing more than a superstition. That was until 1968 when a young couple bought the Killarkey house and started renovating it. The hired workers there reported strange noises and events and a big black cat with demonic eyes that haunted them. It would appear and disappear in a moment. The owners didn't believe them until they saw it too, just standing in the hallways staring at them and snarling. The couple got a priest to perform an exorcism on the house, which seemed to get rid of the beast for a while. Then a group of actors held a seance in the house which brought the black cat back, and with many people now saying it still prowls there to this day. And finally, number 1 now, we have the slough. Some say these spectral creatures are demons, but a closer term would probably be malicious spirits. The slough are dead sinners who have been doomed to spend an eternity hunting for the souls of people who are dying. According to Irish folklore, they come from the west, flying like a flock of birds, trying to enter a house where they sense someone is dying in order to steal their soul and rob them of a happy afterlife.
Shots fired. Woo! Back to the future. Whoa. Catching air like I hit a floated Buddha. Whoa. Move bitch out the way like I'm Luda. I'm making moves like I'm doing Kama Sutra. Woo! Doing Kama Sutra. Whoa. Move bitch out the way like I'm Luda. Whoa. Doing Kama Sutra. Whoa. Move bitch out the way like I'm Luda. Hold up. I fell in love with you cause you made me fail. Hey, I fell in love with you cause you kept it real. Hey, then you done changed up on me. You changed your flow. Now I've been hating on you everywhere I go. Hold up. No, I ain't too flawless, and no, I ain't the best, and no, I don't say sorry, and no, I ain't perfect, but I am the man. I am the man. Shots fired. Back to my business. Whoa. Used to dreaming, now motherfucker lit this. Kill the shit, mister, can I get a witness? Whoa. Yellow move, bitch, like we doing fitness. Woo. Woo. Can I get a witness? Whoa. Yellow move, bitch, like we doing fitness. Whoa. Woo. Woo. Can I get a witness? Whoa. Yellow move, bitch, like we doing fitness. I fell in love with you off that first mixtape. Hey, I fell in love with you cause rap ain't my thing. Hey, I thought that you were different. I guess I was wrong, cause I ain't fucking with none of your new songs. Hold up. No, I ain't too flawless, and no, I ain't the best, and no, I don't say sorry, and no, I ain't perfect, but I am the man. Shots fired. I am the man, no, I ain't aim for no crown. But when you mention them, no, don't leave me out. No, I ain't too flawless, and no, I ain't the best, and no, I don't say sorry, and no, I ain't perfect, but I am the man. I am the man. Shots fired.
My sister has made my kids call her mom. When they get in trouble, she has them write these journal entries apologizing for what they've done, and they start with, "Dear Mom." They have to read them to Christy. And my children have told me they don't want to